What do you do when you can't do the one thing you're most passionate about? High wire walker Lijana Wallenda found that out when a near fatal accident made her put a pause on wire walking, what she and her family are known best for. I talked to Lijana about determining your identity and calling and what to do when fear tells you to give up. This is our conversation. Did you ever question if wire walking was still your calling?
I don't think I did. In that, I mean, I remember being in the hospital and being like, oh no, of course I'm going to walk the wire again. It's what I've done since I can remember. I don't remember not being able to walk a wire. So I think in the big picture, I never did. But in those, when you actually get called on it and you have to actually be training for a big event like Times Square, all of a sudden it's like, and that fear kind of grips you again. Um, so I guess in those moments when I was dealing with the PTSD, then I would say, yeah, I probably did question it. Um, and it would have been perfectly acceptable to everyone if I said, I'm done. I don't want to walk the wire anymore. Of course, it's acceptable. But what a shame, because then I wouldn't be living to my full potential and I wouldn't be doing what I actually love doing with my life. So what a shame that would have been if I would have, just given up.
Yeah. I know just in and of itself, figuring out where your calling is can be really daunting and scary for people. I know I've had so many times where I've questioned if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Do you have any advice for people who are trying to discern what their calling is?
Hmm. Um, I guess my advice would be, trying to figure out what your calling is. And if there's something that you really love to do, but um, you don't feel that maybe you're good enough because there's so many people out there doing it, don't believe those lies. Maybe you're going to come at it at a different angle than other people that do it, but that's what makes you unique and makes you you and makes you, valid. Um, so I would say, don't give up. It's sort of my brother's tagline, never give up, but it's so it's such a driving force in our family. It always has been. So I would say, don't give up, keep pushing. There's always hope. Don't lose hope. It can be really rough, it can be really hard at times, but if you really want it, you need to keep pushing for it and working towards it and trying hard. So yeah.
Yeah. What do you do when you're really convicted that you're supposed to be doing something, but at the same time, it's really scary?
I remind myself that I'm capable to do that I'm capable and that I can do this. That it might be hard work and it might not be easy, but I'm very driven. If there's something that I feel I need to do, I'm going to do it no matter how hard it is, no matter how many times I have to overdo it, or redo it, or how many times, how many hours I have to put in practice. I, you know, I just keep pushing through.
Does what you believe about yourself, your self image, and your self worth affect how you're able to overcome fear?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. If I didn't have a sense of my self-worth or my value, I probably wouldn't have the confidence to do what I do, you know. Um, but it is a hard thing. I had a very difficult divorce, a few years before the accident that I've been through. So I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. It's been tough. So it was a struggle, kind of been knocked down a bunch of times, not just in the wire. Um, but I always knew my self-worth. I knew I was valuable. I knew, I was capable, and I would just have to keep telling myself that rather than just, just laying down. So I've been knocked down, but I always get back up. No matter how hard it is, I get back up. No matter how long it takes, I'm going to get back up, and I always will. It's just in me.
Yeah, on the topic of identity, not only did the accident temporarily change what you looked like on the outside, but it also impacted the thing that you do that you're most associated with, that you're most known for. How did your relationship with your identity, with yourself, change after the accident?
When you have such a fatal accident, I broke every single bone in my face, amongst a lot of other stuff. But the big one is every single bone in my face. I turned 40 in the trauma unit. Single mom. It was really tough to look in the mirror. It was really tough. I think that I think it's easy to fall back on how pretty I look or how smart I am or how talented I am. But when you're knocked down so hard, when you fall 28 feet, you break your whole face and your face is swollen out to here and black and blue and you're unrecognizable. Um, you can't walk, you can't, I couldn't even eat. I had a feeding tube. My parents would feed me through a feeding tube after I left the trauma unit. I had a trach tube. Um, you really have to dig deep and get your self-worth not from those other things on the outside, how pretty I am or how talented I am and all that. Um, it is work, but you have to remind yourself, oh, no, I'm just as valuable. That does not, my talents and my appearance does not define me or who I am or my value to this world. Um, but it's hard.
For a lot of people in my generation and just in the world right now, what they do is very integral to who they are. It's interesting to see how you kind of have to dig deeper when you're not able to just fall back on what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hard thing. It's working through a lot of stuff that you carried with you your whole life. Um, but we are all so valuable to this world. It has nothing to do with our appearance or our talents. Um, it's our heart and who we are, and how hard we love and how we treat everyone else in the world. And that's what's important, not the appearance, not the talents.
Yeah, I think another one of the things you do that's also really brave and requires a lot of vulnerability is how vocal you are about your faith. I know it can be really hard to talk about things that are super close to your heart like that. Have you had any pushback for just kind of showing up as your full self?
I haven't, but I will say it's kind of scary because I sometimes feel like people are going to judge me or because there's a lot of people that don't share my beliefs at all, and I will say sometimes it does feel a little scary, but I can't stay quiet about it. I'm so incredibly blessed to be a child of the one true king, and I'm so thankful, and I know that it's only by the grace of God that I survived the accident, and only by the grace of God that I got through it. In the way that I did. And it's only because of my faith in God and me deciding to praise God through it all, no matter how hard it was, no matter how easy it'd be to be mad at God. Like, how did you let this happen? But He didn't let it happen. I chose to be a performer. I chose to do this. He's the one who carried me through it. So I can't be quiet about it. I never want to push my beliefs on people. So I'd be careful not to do that because I understand everyone's free to believe what they want. But man, if you're going to ask me how it happened, how I got through it, it's only by the grace of God. I mean, even getting through the pandemic every day, it's only because I know God's carrying me through. People look at me often and they say, man, she's so strong. She's really, really strong. And I really am. I'm incredibly strong, the things I've been through. But what they don't know, it's not me. It's God who's carrying me through. It's just because of my faith in God that I've gotten through it. It's not me at all. It's all God.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so good. Bravery and vulnerability are just so integral to what you do, both in how you show up and use your voice, but also how you face your fears in such a big way. In today's social media world, it's so tempting to curate yourself to just show the parts of you that you think other people will like. Do you have any advice on how to live your life in such a way where you do show up fully yourself with so many people watching you?
I always feel like, being transparent and honest is the best. And if someone doesn't like you because of that, well, that's not your problem. That's their problem, right? Um, I always try to be the best person I can. I fail often at, doing things right because I'm human, but I always try to have the purest heart I can have and be kind and be the best I can. And so I'm like, I just have to be myself. And if they don't like me for that, what if they don't like me because I messed up and maybe I wasn't nice to this person, I'm human and I got to accept that. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think that honesty is something people want to see now, right? There is so many filters and all this stuff on Instagram and all the social media. I think people like seeing that raw, real person. Um, but it's scary. It's scary not to hide behind those filters. And that all comes down to confidence in yourself. Um, and it's not like, oh, I'm so confident, I'm so confident, I don't care what people think. I do care, you know but even if they don't like me, it's going to be okay. I do have confidence in that. And I'm a big believer, if you're trying to have the right heart, it's always going to turn out in the end. It might not turn out right in the immediate for the best. But eventually, I really believe if you try to have the best heart, a pure heart, again, I fail all the time. Please don't think I'm trying to say I'm so perfect and kind and nice. I'm not saying that, but I try.
I took so much away from that conversation with Lijana. I hope you did too. Let me know what resonated most with you on social media at Meagan Lynn TV, and make sure to subscribe for more inspirational talks like this. Until next week, remember you're loved, you matter, and you got this.